In this video, I would like to talk to you about events. Let us take an example of a simple probability experiment like rolling a die. We have an outcome that could be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So that's roll a die as we had before. Okay, so in this case, each one of these are outcomes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 outcomes. An event basically is a collection of outcomes. So that's what an event is. Okay, so we can say that event. What does an event mean? Event is a set of one or more outcomes. Of course, it's being just one outcome is obvious, it's a simple event. But if it is more than one outcome, then it's going to be a compound event. So let us look for meaningful events. A meaningful event, like for example, the event of getting odd number. The event of getting odd numbers. So we call this O. And this event has a set of all these numbers. Odd numbers are like 1, 3, and 5. So in this case, this event is 1, 3, 5. So this one has 3 outcomes. Let us try another example. Let us get the event of getting an even number. So we will call this event E. This event has how many outcomes? It has also 3 outcomes. Could be 2, could be 4, could be 6. So in this case, the event has 3 outcomes, which is 2 and 4 and 6. So that's example of events. So event is basically a collection of outcomes, a group of outcomes, a set of outcomes, connected together by certain criteria. The criteria could be being an odd number, like 1, 3, 3. Could be even number, 2, 4, 6. It could also be a prime number. What is the event of getting a prime number? You know what prime numbers are? Okay, prime numbers are like let me write that in different color, like that, like 2 is prime numbers. Okay, prime numbers. These are 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. No, 9 is 3 times 3, and then 11, 13, 15. No, 15 is 3 times 5. So 17 and so on. So that's prime numbers. The numbers that cannot be divided by anything except itself and the 1. So where are the prime numbers here from the die? So when you roll a die, remember what the die is. Okay, I hope you didn't forget this is a die, when you have this, possibilities, 6 possibilities. So in this case, you don't have anything except from 1 to 6 in the die, from 1 to 6. So where is the prime numbers here? The prime numbers are 2, 3, and 5 only. So in this case, if I want to define or to list the elements of this event, I'll say P is the event of getting a prime number, which is 2, 3, and 5. So there are so many examples I can have, build or group together, outcomes to form events. Let us have a look at another example. Now let's look at this example with a family that has 2 children. The first child can be boy or girl. The second child can be also boy or girl in both cases, if the first is boy or the first is girl. So at the end I can have 2 boys, boy then girl then boy, or girl then girl. So I have 4 outcomes. Now what is the event of getting 2 boys? Now these are the outcomes, 4 outcomes. Now we start grouping them. So the event of getting 2 boys, of course, is 1 outcome, which is here. So in this case, it's a simple event. So that's, in this case, is boy, boy. Of course, we put it in a set because usually we have a group of outcomes, but in this case, the group is just 1. And in this case, it's actually a simple event, simple event. Okay? Here, another example is what is the event of getting 1 boy, or sometimes we say exactly 1 boy, so that it cannot be 2 boys, it cannot be 0 boy, it has to be 1 boy. So 1 boy, we look at the outcomes here. We don't look at the tree diagram, we look at the outcomes because we did the experiment, so we reached to the end. So 1 boy can be boy followed by girl, and could be girl followed by boy. So I have 2 possibilities in this case. So that's a compound event because it has 2 outcomes, boy girl, comma, girl, boy. So I have two outcomes. That's a compound event. Okay, compound event. Now let us look at this interesting event. Many of the common questions in probability it talks about at least one or at most one. At least one means minimum one girl. So let's look at the outcomes. Does this have at least one girl, minimum one girl? No, it doesn't have any girls at all. Does this have at least one? Yes, it has one. Does this have at least one? Yes, it has this one. Does this have at least one? Yes, it has actually two, which is more than one, which is fine because at least means minimum. Minimum one, it could be more. So 1, 2, 3 outcomes. So in this case, I have these three outcomes that give me this event. So this event actually has three outcomes, and I can probably write this as BG, comma GB, comma GG. So that is three outcomes, which is again compound event. So that's one of the very common questions here. Another type of questions here that's also very common is at most one girl, as I told you. So at most means maximum one girl. So we can have maximum one girl. So we can have one girl or nothing. So ask yourself, does this have maximum one girl? Does it have a girl or nothing? Yes, it has nothing. It has no girls at all. So this one is okay. Does it have one girl or nothing? Yes, it has one girl. Also, this has one girl. Does this have one girl at most? Maximum one. Is this just one or less? No, this is not one or less. This is two. So this one, no. So I have only these three outcomes now. These ones now give me at most one girl, which means the answer in this case will be boy, 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 girl, and girl, boy. Okay, so again, at least one means minimum one, means in this example one or two. Here is one girl, here's one girl, here is two girls. At most one means maximum one, means one or less, which means 0 or 1 in this example. So that's 0 girls, that's 1, and that's 1 also girls. Finally, another example on this one is when we want the second child to be a girl, and the second child means second one is here. It's first and second. So second is not girl here, second is girl here, so yes, we'll take this one. And the second child here is not girl, but the second child here is also girl, so that's what we're looking at, the second child. So that's also the case. So we have two outcomes in this case, which are BG and GG. So anyway, that was an interesting example. Let us have a look at a completely new example here. There are so many examples we can look at and we can learn from. Now let us look at this two-way classification example. We have employee selected from hospital. It could be male or female. Same time, the male or the female could be doctor or nurse. So that's the gender here, and there's a job here. Two-way classification. Now there are four possible outcomes, and I want to know the event of getting a male or nurse. A male or nurse, that means you search in the outcomes. Do we have here a male or nurse? Yes, we have a male. So this one is a possibility. How about the second one? Is this a male or nurse? Yes, it's a male. So in this case, we'll consider that. Male or nurse. Next, is this male or nurse? No, this is not male, and this is not nurse. So in fact, no. So we don't take this one. Let's look at the last one. Is this male or nurse? Yes, it's nurse. So in this case, we also take it. So that means in this case, we have three possible outcomes in this event, which is a male doctor, and a male nurse, and finally a female nurse. So that is the possibilities. Three outcomes. That's a male or nurse. So the or in this case means a union. Anything will be fine. Any one of them will be fine. Belonging to one of them is enough. being a male only is enough, being a nurse only is enough, being a male and a nurse at the same time, like this one, that's even better. So that's having a male or nurse. The second case is when you actually say and, we don't say or, we say and. So in this case, what does it mean? How can I have one person selected that's male and nurse at the same time? So in this case, and means at the same time. Who's male and nurse at the same time? That's male and nurse at the same time. So it's only one outcome in this case. So in this case, I have only one outcome, which is that one, male nurse. Okay, so that's the very important two questions that comes also combine outcomes together, or even sometimes events. So the or means one of them is enough, and in that sense it's a united all the male and all the nurse together. See, all the male are here and all the nurse are here, so when you unite them together, that's like a union. And that's why in many cases or logically can be understood as union, and this is a symbol of union, while and in fact can be understood as intersections. So, and that's a symbol of intersection. So I have at the same time male and nurse, a person who is male and nurse. So I hope you get an idea about also or as well as and in this example. So to summarize, what did we learn in this video? We learned a number of things. We learned about events, and these events could actually is a collection of or a group of outcomes, a set of outcomes, and this can happen in simple experiment, or like the example of a dye, and it can happen also in a compound experiment or compound. Also, we learned that in the way a number of things. For example, we learned about at least and at most. So what does it mean? And I also learned about the or as well as the and, so that we can understand these concepts, because these concepts are repeating in many questions. And if you still have any problem with any of these, please go back to the video or contact me in the classroom or in the office.